And how did Jim sustain that injury?
He did it in our conditioning test, which was unfortunate, you know, for him and for us, obviously. You know, he tweaked it halfway through it. You know, we don't think it was a full pull or anything, but we want to be smart and safe with it. You never know with those things how long they'll take, but don't think it's anything too serious, but we want to definitely be safe with it.
It's hard the guy that steps into either of those spots, if Eric or Jimmy were to go down.
Yes, and we're trying to train all of them like that.
What do you see from Jablowski?
I think he's come a long way since we first got here. You know, he's gotten in a great shape. He did that throughout the phase 1, 2, and 3. He came back yesterday even in better shape, and I'm real excited about him. He's a guy who can run and hit, and got to see how he plays in the system and how fast he can play once he gets out there.
Ahmad okay today?
Brooks?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahmad was good. Yeah, he was good to go and no setbacks at all.
Like Eli was getting a lot of the first team reps. I mean, is that just a 30-something?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, to tell you the truth, that wasn't. I'll see when I watch the tape, but that's not something I noticed. I bet it would be pretty balanced towards the whole practice, but I mean, we don't really look at that as much right now. So I want to make a big deal of anything like that.
Tim Hightower has kind of flown under the radar a little bit. It seems like he was out there a bunch. I mean, there's some rookies that you like, but this is a veteran that you know well. You're looking for him to get an opportunity?
Yeah, we're giving Tim as much of an opportunity as everyone else. You know, I didn't, you know, very similar to what Matt asked about Eli. You know, we didn't do anything. There was nothing different. It might have seemed like he was out there more. I'll see the numbers when I get inside, but it was the same rotation we had in OTAs.
Got Solomon done. How happy are you to have it done? And also, what's the plan for getting him integrated?
We're ready to go tomorrow. You know, if he would have gone in a little bit earlier today, we would have had him go out there today. So Solomon's a guy who's in shape. I'll talk to Ray Wright because he came out on the, towards the beginning of practice, so I know Ray worked him out, and I believe he took him through our conditioning test. So, you know, we've seen Solomon, we've seen his workouts and stuff. He's a guy who believes in shape. When I talk to Ray, I think he'll confirm that, and I expect him to see out there tomorrow. I was excited. You know, it was good to get him out there, get him on the field. I know he's been chomping at the bit for a while now. It's good to see him go through at full speed, deal with getting the lines right and stuff. I think he got an interception out there today, which was good for him, and it was a good first day.
Is the plan for him to work at middle focus as well, or maybe cross training at Mike too?
Yes, but you know that's where we're starting him. But I can't. You know, we're gonna mix around a lot of stuff. You know, it's a challenge we have to try to find the best 53, the best 11 on the field, and we're not going to be real consistent with that. But today he definitely got his reps at will linebacker.
Regarding Hightower, you know, he had the injury, and then it seemed like he was out of the NFL. I think it was 3 or 4 years. You figured, okay, we're never going to hear from him again, and then he's returned. I don't realize you were coaching him, but you know. But did you think Tim Hightower was no longer going to play in the NFL? Was he even on your radar, or were you surprised when he?
Well, yeah, Tim. You know, I had Tim in Washington for 4 games, and he did a real good job for us in those 4 games. He had a real bad injury, tearing his ACL, and the next year, you know, the surgery or something didn't go right, but I forget exactly what it was, but it didn't heal the right way. We came back next year, and he ended up, you could tell in at camp that it just wasn't right, and so I think he got it redone, and you'd have to ask him the exact story of it, but he had to do it a couple times. And I remember when I went to Cleveland, I tried to get him out there for a workout, and I don't think I could, but I definitely tried. And I tried the same in Atlanta too. So he was a guy that we've been waiting to look at. I want to say we might have gotten to come work out, and I think it took a while for his knee to come back. So he never looked like the guy that I had. And then obviously New Orleans worked him out, and he made their team, and so I've seen him on tape, and I've been playing against him twice a year for the last 2 years, so I've seen him look good, his knee healed, and usually when you take a few years off, or a couple years, whatever it was, and your knee's like that, it's very hard to come back, but if anybody knows Tim, he's a guy you never count out.
Seems to get very high marks for professionalism.
Yeah, he's as good of a pro as I've been around. I mean, it's his job, and he treats it like that, and you know what you're going to get from Tim every day.
Bill yesterday said that Brian Hoyer was one of the most competitive people he's ever been around in the NFL. Is that something that you noticed, you know, in Cleveland, and how does that sort of manifest itself, you know, this time of year when you're just practicing?
Just being around Brian, I think Brian believes in himself. Brian wants an opportunity, and that's what he's looking for year in and year out. And for him to come here, he's moved his family a bunch, and to come here, I know why he's doing it, because he wants an opportunity to play. He's not a guy who's happy with just sitting on the bench and being a comfortable backup, and a lot of people get like that at this time in their career, but not Brian. He wants to play, he wants to be out there, and I think guys feel that. When guys know that guys are doing everything they can to get in the game, get in the battle, those are guys people respond to and play hard for.
There's a lot of chatter. Obviously, Brian signed a 2-year deal, and people talk about the idea that you guys don't have a long-term solution at quarterback. How do you think he's dealing with that, and how difficult is that position to be in for someone like him?
I think, the more you're in the league, you get used to it. Almost everyone's in that situation, regardless of what your contract says, players and coaches. So I think the more you're in that situation, you know how to deal with it. Brian's been through a lot of tough situations. I think he feels like he's in a pretty good one right now. I don't think any time in the league you can really look to the future anyone. Brian has a great opportunity this year to prove that he can be our guy, and you go through a whole season with him like that, and you do this with every player, and you always have the future in mind, but you can't control that. You got to focus on now, and when the season ends, we all evaluate and we'll see what happens, and I just know that I'm happy to have him here, and I think we got a quarterback who gives us a chance to win.
Anything else? All right.
Good guys, thanks.
See you guys.